What is going on? My name is Derosier, and I just want to welcome you guys to the Serious Sarcasm Podcast. Just to give you a quick rundown of this podcast, it's very simple. The title basically is self-explanatory of the podcast. I'm going to be talking about serious topics, but it's going to be in a playful, sarcastic, funny manner. Just because if you look at the day and age that we live in, whether it be sports, whether it be politics, whether it be just having fun, everything is so polarizing. So why not make fun of us as a society, right? So, for example, first topic, off rip. President Biden, or soon-to-be former President Biden. President Biden just announced recently that he's going to be dropping out of the presidential campaign. Are we surprised? No, we're not. However, this is kind of like a long time coming that we all should have expected in a while. Especially after that first debate with President Trump, obviously from all of America's eyes, all of the world's eyes, it didn't really seem like he was all the way there. And I would hate to be that guy to sit here and talk about another person's health, because obviously we don't know the president's health or mental well-being at this point in time. But we do know that, he did have COVID just recently. And right when he was on COVID, he announced on a Sunday that he's going to be stepping down from running as the primary Democratic nominee. While he stepped down, he also mentioned that he's putting his full support behind his vice president, Ms. Kamala Harris. I would be wrong if I didn't say I had some hesitations about Kamala Harris running for president. But at the same time, why would I be worried about somebody who was one, a prosecutor, one, a U.S. senator, well, two, actually, I take that back, one, a prosecutor, two, a U.S. senator, and has been the vice president for the past 4 years or 3.5 years, I guess, in this point over this recording. I genuinely don't see the issue with her running for president. Obviously, elephant in the room, she is a black woman. Elephant in the room, she is born from an immigrant mother. Elephant in the room, a lot of people who don't look like us don't like her, and they find every reason to discredit her. And even the people who do look like me discredit her, i.e., there's a lot of black men, black women, Hispanic women who are going online, trying to pull her record. And then when you do the deep diving about the people who she's actually incarcerated, it's not as bad as you would think, as she did serve as the Attorney General for the state of California. Now, this is not me trying to tell you to vote for her or vote for Mr. Orange Man, a.k.a. Trump, but I'm going to be real with you. Would you rather, this is me speaking as a black man. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, grew up in Orlando, Florida, some of the most diverse cities in states you could ever be in. This is me just being real. Would you rather vote for the person who wants to take away women's rights, who wants to give police full immunity, and also on top of all that, he also wants to implement the one household vote rule, which is basically no matter if me and let's say my wife or me and my children who may be of age to vote, they disagree on our politics. Since I'm the man of the household, I get to choose who everybody votes for by one vote. That's kind of ridiculous, don't you think?
Whoa, I didn't hear about that. That's for real?
Yeah, that's for real. It's off the Project 2025. So,
but Trump said he doesn't endorse that.
And I know you guys are gonna think that Trump doesn't endorse it, but let's be real. If you even read his agent, I believe it's Agent 46 or Agent 47.
That's Hitman.
His Agent 47 breakdown. You're going to see that 90% of the stuff that's in his Agent 47 breakdown is also in the Project 2025 breakdown. And the worst part about it, one of the authors of the Project 25 breakdown actually worked in former President Trump's cabinet when he was a president. So, 9 plus 10 equals 19. That shit kind of adds up to me. I don't know about you. And I've always been told since I was a kid, bro, if it walk like a duck, if it quack like a duck, it ain't a fucking dog. So guess what? It's either vote for that or vote for the woman, the black woman, on top of that. And I know a lot of people are upset that she's the black woman that's running for the first time. I know we all wanted Michelle Obama. Me personally, my dream ticket would have been Michelle Obama as president. And I guess hindsight being 2020, I can't say Oprah no more. But my president ticket would have been at this point now, to go into my next topic, it would have probably been now, the way the world's going, it would have been Kamala Harris now, I guess, and Miss Angel Reese as her vice president.
She's like 20.
Speaking of Angel Reese, bro, I want to talk about Angel Reese and, of course, Caitlyn Clarke as well. I do want to give both of them a shout out because very similar and I hate to bring sports into politics, but very similar to how Democrats and Republicans are, Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clarke are as well. And I'm not talking about them specifically. I'm talking about the people that support them, the people that are their biggest fans, whether it be black, white, brown, yellow, whatever the case is. For two young 20, 21-year-old women to come into a league that's only about, how old is that WNBA? Like 25, 26 years old, max?
It's not that old.
Like, I'm older than the WNBA, let's be real. But for them to come into this league and have such a stronghold on the league to the point where people were upset that Caitlyn Clarke wasn't even on the USA basketball team. People were upset that Angel Reese didn't even get a tryout for the basketball team as well. I think it's so amazing that they have, for example, Caitlyn Clarke and Angel Reese, just them two being in the league. I've seen now in the past 2 weeks that 3 separate WNBA franchises have new sports facilities being built that are over $35 to $50 million.
Whoa.
Granted, only one of those teams, Caitlyn or Angel plays for, and that's Chicago, that just announced it. But the other 2 teams, of course, the New York Liberty, I believe it was one of the teams, and Phoenix Mercury, are 2 teams who are usually in contention of championships every year in the WNBA. And they just announced now that they have the money to build these facilities. Now, this is not me, taking a shit on the greats in the past, kind of like
Lisa Leslie,
Diana Taurasi, Becky Hammond. Becky Hammond, I was a big fan of. I grew up in New York, and I got to go to Liberty games a lot when she played for them. It's not me taking a shit on them because obviously those are GOATs. Those women are kind of like the NBA's version of like a Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell. These people who basically made the pillars for the league to actually stand on. Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clarke I guess could be our version now of I hate to bring it black and white, but Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. Here's the issue, though, and this is the thing I think is hilarious about it. People keep putting Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clarke against each other, but they don't play the same position. They don't play the same style of basketball. To me, Caitlyn Clarke is like that incredible filet mignon. Like, that's that thing, like you go out on a fancy night, dress up and go out and just eat. Angel Reese is cheeseburgers and fries. Something that may not be as fancy, but it's going to do its job every single time. And I hate to compare Angel Reese to cheeseburgers and french fries, but that's not the case. What I'm saying is Angel Reese off the court is everything that we would want Caitlyn Clarke to be. Caitlyn Clarke on the court is everything that people want Angel Reese to be. But at the same time, Angel Reese is doing a great job playing the villain. So I think honestly, both of them being in the league is an amazing thing. Granted, it's going to keep turning into a race issue because one is white and one is black. One won a national championship in college. One hasn't won anything besides maybe a couple of, National Player of the Years. One is a turnover machine. One isn't. One gets double-doubles. The other gets 30 points, 10 assists consistently. So they're 2 completely different play styles. But,
You know what I think is also a reason why the WNBA is getting a lot of new eyes on it? Is because a lot of these women that are coming into the league are attractive.
I would agree with that, too. Another thing is, too, Angel Reese is probably one of the most attractive women that's ever stepped foot on the WNBA court.
Cameron Brink,
I believe Cameron Brink tore her ACL recently, if I'm not mistaken.
Game.
And she still dropped dead gorgeous. If you look at the Vegas Aces, Asia Wilson is basically a WNBA Shaq and Kobe at the same time. And she's killing it. She's not getting no type of notoriety. She's also dropped dead gorgeous. Who is the other Aces star that just got a divorce? I'm a Giants fan. I know she got a divorce because she got a divorce from a Giants player, Darren Waller. Kelsey Plum, dropped dead gorgeous. There's so many women in the WNBA now that's making guys look at it more often because they are gorgeous, so it's that sex appeal.
Yep.
And I hate to bring up the sex appeal, but let's be real, sex does sell, even in sports. I mean, even when ESPN was, at the top of their height, they would drop every year the Naked magazine issue. You know what I'm saying? So it was always a cash cow. So let's not act like, just because everybody's thirst trapping off of Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clarke, it's solely because of their play on the court. Let's be real. Everyone is attracted to what they look like off the court as well. But switching gears a little bit, and I'm going to get into a bit of a serious topic, i.e. the name of the podcast, Serious Sarcasm. I'm just going to point to you guys to the disclaimer at the beginning of the episode for my video viewers. And for the people who's listening to audio, the the disclaimer at the beginning of the episode says, my word and my opinions are not the gospel of this podcast or gospel of this earth. What that means is, if you don't agree with me, kiss my ass. If you do, I appreciate it too. You can still kiss my ass too. But I'm going to talk about a more serious topic, one that hits very close to home, being a African-American male in this country that loves to hate us, but also loves to keep us in our place, more or less. You can't avoid it. We've all seen the body cam footage, and if you haven't, you're probably going to end up being on that jury because you're going to be one of the rare people who didn't see the body cam footage on this earth by now. And that is the body cam footage of Sonya Massey. Unfortunately, she was shot and killed on July 6th of this year by a police officer. She was a 36-year-old black woman. She called the cops, actually, because she thought she had an intruder in her home. When the cops came, obviously, if you watch the body cam footage, I'm just going to describe it. I'm not going to show it just because, it is kind of nerve-wracking for a lot of people to see. Basically had a calming conversation with the police officers at hand. I'm gonna shit and kick the police officers back in a second, but just give me a second. I'm trying to collect my thoughts while I'm trying to present this in an appropriate manner before I start rolling jokes and roasting this police officer. Sean Grayson. Sean Grayson is the police officer who shot her. Sean Grayson had a full conversation with her. If you watch the body cam footage, it was a full calm conversation. They realized there was no intruder in the home. Miss Massey was, obviously we found out after the fact, and actually during the fact, actually too, is that she suffered from a mental health issue. What sucks about this situation is that once again we see another unarmed American, whether it be black, white, brown, whatever the case is, but specifically a black person, unarmed, now in their home being shot by a police officer. Now, the police officer's explanation was he thought that she was going to throw that boiling hot pot of water that she was using to cook on him. If you watch the video, you can see that she tried to duck the second that cop pulled out the gun, and the cop still decided to let off a shot straight to her dome. Now that I described the body cam footage, let me kick this officer's back in. Former officer Sean Grayson, I'm going to kick it back in. And the reason why is because two things. I have never in my life, and I truly mean this, never in my life, maybe besides maybe sports, have seen somebody get fired in a matter of 4 years from 5 different police agencies. Now, I'm going to say 6 now because obviously he just got fired and arrested for this crime as well. I don't understand how someone keeps getting fired and still finds a job everywhere they go. Your batting average on keeping a job is just as bad as the dude, I forgot the baseball player's name, but there was a baseball player this week that hit a double and his batting average popped up and it said he was hitting 169, but he was quick to do the pump, fight, fist pump. Your batting average on keeping a job is probably as bad as that guy.
Man, that's a definition of white privilege.
If I knew his name, I would kick his back in too. But the reason I want to kick your back in specifically is not only did we find out that you're a white supremacist, not only did we find out that you're a racist, not only did we find out that you've been fired 5, now 6 times in the past 4 years, and you still keep finding a job in police agencies, which I don't understand. I feel like if you did a background check on somebody and it says that they were fired for doing something stupid, it probably would have popped up already. You probably wouldn't want to hire that person, right? That's just me speaking, just saying. As a person who's worked in retail, who's worked in insurance in his past life, like, I know if something pops up on that background check, I'm not hiring you. So the fact that you keep getting hired is beyond me. I don't get it. But besides that, my guy, you are 6'2", 6'3", white male, probably 240 pounds. She is a 36-year-old black woman who's probably like 5'4", and less than that. My dude, I've seen, as somebody who's dated Hispanic women, I've had water thrown on me before, and I've dodged it quick. I know you could do the same. Like, my guy, the fact that you decided to shoot her, and you knew she was going through a mental health issue, because after you shot her, you said, that bitch is crazy. And that's a quote. That's not me just putting words in his mouth. He said, and I quote, yo, that bitch is crazy. And if you watch the body cam footage, you can see his fellow officers who saw him shoot her, the look of disgust on their face, like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? This dude is insane that he shot her. I wish I was Charlemagne the Guy and I could give you Donkey of the Day, because he probably gave it to you already, but I'm going to give you a donkey of the day as well. Now, I want to go into a lighter note to kind of end this episode off. Two more things I got to talk about before I end this episode and give you guys an outro. Family Feud. Now, let me just be real. They're going to put the thing on the screen, but I'm going to tell them to give me a second. I want to intro this real quick. So I want to explain Family Feud for a second. So Family Feud is, if you haven't watched it, everyone's watched it, I think so, in America or around the world. Family Feud is a game where you bring for your family members, whether it be in-laws, whatever the case is, and you battle and you answer surveys for money. Basically, it'll be like, top 6 answers on the board. We surveyed 100 people. Tell us the best day of the week to go out and party. People will be like, Friday's the best day of the week. Let's say 45 people out of 100 people picked Friday, and that's the number one answer. So you get points depending on how many people voted for that specific answer. Family Feud's bright idea, and I want to say this too. When Family Feud usually does these surveys, I've been in a Family Feud survey when I was like 22, because they did it here in Orlando in the mall. Literally just random pop up in the mall, and they'll just ask you a question. They'll just survey it like that. 9 times out of 10, Family Feud usually surveys people of a different, I'm gonna say creed than myself. And the reason I'm gonna say that is because Family Feud did a survey of who are the greatest rappers, or who is the best rapper of all time, right? And these 8 answers, I'm gonna say this. Let me say this first. The 8 answers didn't bother me. It's the organization of the 8 answers. And we're gonna put it on the screen so you guys can see it yourself. For my audio listeners, I'm gonna explain it to you guys. The number 1 answer was none other than Mr. Snoop Doggy Dogg. Number 2 was Tupac. Number 3 was Eminem. Number 4 was Dr. Dre. 5, LL Cool J. 6 was Notorious B.I.G. And tied at 7, mind you, there's 8 rappers' names. I already said 6. So tied at 7 with 3 votes apiece was 50 Cent and Jay-Z.
I think I just asked them, can you name
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Snoop Dogg being number 1 doesn't bother me. The reason why it doesn't bother me is for one reason and one reason only. I know Snoop Dogg is probably not everyone's favorite rapper of all time, but when you look at hindsight being 2020, when you look at rap music and hip hop as a culture, Snoop Dogg and maybe 50 Cent are probably the 2 most popular rappers that's ever graced this earth. I'm gonna say Snoop Dogg, 50, Tupac, and Drake is probably the 4 like most popular rappers who ever walked this earth, and that's just me speaking, from outside looking in when it comes to being a rapper. What bothers me is that I don't know if there's be a lot of people who listen to rap music that will put Dr. Dre in their top 5, and I was gonna be honest with you. Dr. Dre to me is not a rapper. I put Dr. Dre in the same boat I put Kanye West. They are rappers. They're artists. I put Dr. Dre, Kanye, and Drake actually all in the same boat when I say they're artists. They're not rappers. Reason being, Dr. Dre's biggest hit, still DRE, was written, the entire song, verses and hook were written by Jay-Z. 50 Cent, I don't mind 50 Cent being in that top 8 because I think 50 Cent at one point was the biggest rapper that's ever walked this earth. The reason being because, speaking as somebody who had G-Unit sneakers, speaking as somebody who played, 50 Cent had a video game, y'all.
Bulletproof.
He had a video game on PS2 that almost sold as much copies as Grand Theft Auto 3. Let's put that in perspective for a second. 50 Cent, I'm so sorry. 50 Cent at one point was as big as Popeye's chicken or Popeye's biscuits. Like, force it down your throat, pause. 50 Cent had his own vitamin water. Like, let's put that in perspective, yo. 50 Cent had clothing, sneakers, action figures. I never met a rapper who had an action figure before, except for 50 Cent. Eminem, I understand Eminem being in the top 3. Eminem, Tupac, I don't have a problem with their placement. I would never argue Eminem and Tupac being in the top 3. Same thing with Snoop Dogg. It's just the organization. LL Cool J being in the top 8, it was kind of dope to see somebody who had a lot of success in the late 80s and 90s. And LL Cool J kind of, leaned over in the 2000s as well. I remember LL had a couple of hit songs in the 2000s. I remember he had one hit track with Jennifer Lopez.
Headstrong.
When he Headstrong, exactly. When he sampled, I forgot the name of the song he sampled. It was an Africa Bambaataa beat he sampled back in the day. But I'm not surprised LL Cool J was in that top 8. Not surprised 50, B.I.G. You know, I'm from Brooklyn. You know, I'm gonna always rep B.I.G. and Jay-Z to the death of me. But let's be real. Yo, seeing the organization of this list, bro, is wild, Joe. Dr. Dre being in that top 8, I think, is my biggest problem. And it's not me trying to shit on Dr. Dre, but if you took that survey today, I guarantee you, you got to take it today. I guarantee you a lot of people's top 8 would include current rappers like a J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, or Drake. And I wouldn't be mad at that either. Because obviously music is subjective, yada, 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 yada. All that bullshit that you guys try to tell yourselves to try to, justify your bullshit opinions. But let's be real. Jay-Z should be number 1. There's no argument on that. Jay-Z has bars. He has the record sales. He has the concerts. He's married to probably the most decorated artist of all time in Beyonce. Your number 2, I wouldn't be upset because I think Nas should be in that top 8 on that Family Feud list as well, and that kind of bothers me. And last thing I'm gonna say before I go to the next topic to end this episode on a great note, no one else noticed in that top 8. Can we put that on the screen one more time for my audience, the visual audience to see? Yo, there's no Southern rapper on this list. Like no Ludacris, no T.I., no Pimp C, Bun B, Goody Mob. Like there's no Southern rapper on this list. Shit, if I want to be honest with you, there's no Midwest rapper, no Twista, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Common. Like this list is crazy. This list is fucking crazy. I'm just gonna curse from now on. That list is fucking crazy. But you know, suburban people voted on this. I guarantee it. I do want to say shout out though to Steve Harvey before I go on. Steve Harvey, shout outs to you, my guy. Thank you for apologizing to all of hip hop. I do appreciate you, man. Last but not least, to end this episode off on a great note, we have a new segment called "Bruh, What You Want?"
Bro, what you want?
To explain this segment is very simple. Basically, every week I'm gonna find the craziest news article or the craziest, thing that happened in the world. Being somebody who lives in the state of Florida, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be a Florida person or Florida man, as we all know, because Florida got the dumbest criminals on earth. But for the first episode, I decided to give my state some leeway and not kick their back in just yet. For this one, it's gonna take place in the great state of Kentucky. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a man called David Ratliff. David Ratliff was driving down the highway and then ended up, falling asleep in a parking lot. He fell asleep in a parking lot, and cops came up to him because they saw him sleeping in the car, passed out, and they wanted to check on him, see if he was okay. Cop knocks on the window, asks the man for his ID and proof of insurance, see if he's okay. And instead of giving the cop his ID and proof of insurance, guess what this dumb son of a bitch did? He went and grabbed a bag that contained crystal meth, fentanyl, and $3,000 in cash and handed that to the officer thinking that it was his license, registration, and proof of insurance. Can you please put this man's picture on the screen? Look at this. Oh, Lord Jesus. This man looks like he hasn't showered in days.
He's got a ketchup stain.
Yo, I just want to describe to you guys this picture. He's wearing a blue shirt that's super dirty. He has a big old ketchup, or I don't know what stain that is, bro. It looks disgusting. He has like the rusty beard. I know you guys ever seen it. He got like the rusty. I'm going to tell you exactly what this guy looks like. If you ever watched South Park, he looks like Cartman all grown up. That's straight up what this man looks like. With glasses this time around. Yo, this man looks dirty. I look like, looking at this man right now, if I was the cop that put handcuffs on him, I'm getting STD tested right after. This man just looks dirty. But I want to read to you guys exactly his thought process after he gave the cop the $3,000 in cash. Hold on, let me just pull this up real quick. He said to the officer, "I'm sorry for handing you the baggie, but my ID is in there." He said that with a straight face to the officer. He apologized for giving the officer the meth and the drugs and the money. But he said, "Hey, I know you caught me with all this contraband, but hey, my ID should still be in there, my guy," with a straight face. Ladies and gentlemen, can I please get a bro what you want?
Bro, what you want?
Yo, I'm sorry, dumbass criminals in this world. I'm so happy it was in Florida, but who knows? Maybe the next episode I'll find a Florida issue to bring up to you guys. But with that being said, man, this was the first episode of the Serious Sarcasm Podcast. My name is Derosier. I do want to say, first and foremost, thank you to the podcast Dr. Phil here in Orlando for allowing me to record here. He got a beautiful studio out here in Orlando. To all you guys out there that's listening, all you guys on YouTube and all the other streaming platforms who are probably listening and viewing this, I do want to say thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. And please continue to share all the videos that you guys see. We do appreciate it. See you guys next episode. My name is Jada Roja. Be safe.